The Epstein files. And the decision by the Trump White House and Donald Trump to go full George Orwell.
Jeffrey Epstein birthday letter.
It's not my signature, and it's not the way I speak. And anybody that's covered me for a long time, no, that's not my language. It's nonsense. And frankly, you're wasting your time. All you do is trying to get off the great success of D.C. and about 200 other things we've done that are so successful.
Nope. I didn't write that letter. So somehow the only forgery in this birthday book from the Epstein estate is somehow has to do with Donald Trump, right? We don't hear Bill Clinton saying that. We don't hear Alan Dershowitz saying that. You don't hear any of these other folks saying that. And it's always been a head scratcher to me why Trump has set himself up to sort of look this foolish. And now, maybe you look at what he's created, that he's created this alternative factual universe. And he has got his people willing to believe whatever he says, right? The infamous quote, he can shoot somebody in Fifth Avenue and nothing would happen to his popularity rating with his base. And Epstein's the first real test of this, right? It's the biggest test yet, probably the biggest test since Access Hollywood. And he's going with it wasn't me defense. Nope, I didn't do it. Nope, that wasn't me. That's got to be a forgery. That's got to be a hoax. And shockingly, so many staffers are willing to put their name on the record. I mean, Karoline Leavitt, she just eliminated herself from ever being taken seriously when she leaves this job.
If he didn't sign these, if you said he didn't sign the birthday card, he didn't do this, he also didn't do the check, those were in documents from the estate. So what is the working theory as to why he's in them?
The president has one of the most famous signatures in the world, and he has for many, many years. You know that, Maggie, you've covered him for a long time, long before he assumed this office when he was a businessman in New York. The president did not write that letter. He did not sign those documents. He maintains that position, and that position will be argued in court by his lawyers. The president is very confident he is going to win this case.
She may feel empowered right now in the moment, and maybe she'll follow Sarah Sanders into politics and just stay in the partisan lane. But many a press secretary, believes they're a communications genius and they want to be able to work in corporate America. But when you're this brazen about bullshit, when you're this Orwellian and willing to put your name on it, when you know he's lying on this, we all know he's lying on this. So it's a moment. And, we've known this, that, when the frog boils, it happens slowly and you don't feel it. And all of a sudden it's boiled. And we've been warning of this moment, and the big tech companies with their algorithms that have totally destroyed the information ecosystem, and yet they take no responsibility for their role in this. Congratulations. They've created in my current Substack, my recommended reading for the week was 1984. We have entered it. It is worth rereading. I just reread it recently. Here we are. And this is and maybe it was all building to this moment when he had something that was just so hard for him to erase away in the minds of voters that he just, didn't do it. I'm reminded there was an old Eddie Murphy stand-up that I was obsessed with back when I was in high school. And there's a whole routine. And when he gets caught with another woman and he says, wasn't me, baby. Wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. Wasn't me. She walks into the bedroom. Wasn't me. And then he somehow, and the whole sort of the punchline of the joke is, some of you who know the routine may know exactly where this is going. And I'm not going to totally get into it here because I want to be family friendly-ish. And I'll be honest, I don't know how much of that, there's much of that routine of his, both delirious and raw for you Gen Xers out there that are like that. It's, as NSFW, not safe for work, not safe for mixed company, probably not safe for any Gen Z or millennial at this point. Just as a quick aside, my son, as 18, he couldn't believe when he saw clips of Animal House. He's like, that wasn't in an actual movie. Like, he couldn't believe some of the things that were deemed comedic back then. And, that's some of these stand-up routines from the 80s. But I'll admit that's I was thinking about that when I see Trump just sort of, nope, not me, not my signature, none of that. It's certainly brazen, and our first truly the most Orwellian moment I think we've had so far in the Trump era. The question is whether this has a huge impact on him, and it all depends on how Democrats use it. I don't think Democrats have as much credibility on the Epstein issue itself, because I think it is easy to say, hey, where were you last year on this? When you guys had the ability to do all this, you didn't do it. Now you care because it seems to make Trump squirm. So I think the issue itself is hard for them to weaponize. But here's where I think the issue can be effective. If you're trying to make the case that Donald Trump keeps lying to you about, he told you he was going to do this with the economy. He told you he was going to create the golden age of this. He's not telling you the truth. Doesn't tell you the truth on the Epstein files. Doesn't tell you the truth about that. Doesn't tell you the truth about this. So that's how I think it can be used, as sort of if you're trying to essentially make the case to the jury of voters of the reason this economy has not gotten better, it's gotten worse because what he told you is not true and turned out to be not true. And how do you know that he will just say whatever it takes to convince you otherwise? Look at this Epstein story. And it is sticky enough where people know the story. It is not, I do not believe it's a voting issue, but I believe it's a piece of evidence that can be used to make the case to a swing voter that Republican X can't be trusted, that sort of thing. And so that's where I think it can be effective.